3, 2, 1, go.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of All Motoring. Today we are featuring the Nissan Bluebird Sylphy. And before we delve into the car, you see, normally, usually in these types of shows, car review shows, you usually get a soft, heartwarming story about the origin of car manufacturers such as Nissan to warm you up and to prepare you to get the official vehicle analysis. But I actually try and think about anything about Nissan as a company. I don't see anything big to say in terms of history, but when I come to think of it, they're actually responsible for manufacturing the best car in the world, the Nissan GTR. It's actually the best car in the world, debatable, story for another day. But back to the Bluebird. You know, what's interesting is that they actually share a component with the Nissan GTR, again, the best car in the world. The Nissan Bluebird and the GTR actually share a component, and you'd be interested to know what that is. The badge. Now, this particular car has a quite interesting name, Nissan Bluebird Sylphy. The name comes from, you know, this car is sort of a love child between the Datsun Sylphy. You know, Nissan back in the 40s and 50s used to manufacture vehicles under the name Datsun, and they used to manufacture a certain vehicle which was known as the Datsun Sylphy, and they had a series of vehicles of that name. And when they became Nissan, they had vehicles known as the Sylphy sometime around the 90s or 80s. I'm not quite sure about that, but when they became Nissan, they introduced a brand called the Nissan Sylphy. So they sort of merged. I'm not saying they merged the technologies or engineering or anything. I'm just saying the names. So it became the Nissan Bluebird Sylphy. And production started around 2000. And this is the second generation of the Bluebird Sylphy. You know, there are several Sylphys, there are several Bluebirds, but this is the second generation of the particular Bluebird Sylphy.
So let's get straight to business. What engine does it have and how does it feel?
So this 1500cc engine, I'm not quite sure of the name. If I was on mechanic duty, I bet I could have told you the name or something, but I bet it's the same engine they use in other models such as the Tida, the Primera, and other models of the Nissan that probably I can't remember at the moment, because again, being Japanese manufacturers, they'll recycle every bit of metal to come up with a new car, but we're used to it. So 1500cc, not turbocharged. It's not a joke. Could have been turbocharged, but naturally aspirated 1500cc. In terms of horsepower, is that even relevant? I haven't checked the figures, but of importance is getting from point A to B. Of importance, as Kenyans would say. So this car will get you from point A to B quite comfortably. You won't notice any, you know, it's not like you buy this car and subscribe to, I don't know, racing or something, but on normal condition traffic, this car is more than fantastic for road use.
This brings me to the suspension. A lot of shaking and wobbliness is of course expected during motion, but that is cured by the car's suspension setup. Apart from the platform that this car is built on, the suspension features shock absorbers for all four wheels, coil springs for the front two wheels, and at the front you get arms and a cross member to hold everything together. All these items are complemented by an army of rubber bushes to ensure that your ride is silky and at the same time firm. The interior is quite impressive. Of course, it's not on the Bentley Continental territory, but it's quite good.
I think this interior, compared to its competitors from maybe Toyotas and Mitsubishis and the sorts, I think this interior is very well designed. You sort of get the feeling that you're going to have a comfortable ride. You're going to have a pleasant time as you drive your car. You get bits and bits of indications to show you that it wants to make you feel, comfortable. You get this wooden panel at the top of the steering wheel. You have things like controls on the steering wheel. You have also wooden panels on the door here. Don't know whether it's fake wood or real wood, but to the eyes, it's wood. You also get very comfortable seats. The upholstery, it's not anything fancy such as leather or expensive resin, but it's good material, and the way the seat is built, I don't know whether Nissan built the seats for themselves, but the way the seat is built, it sort of accommodates your body, as in you sort of sit in a cocoon of your own comfortableness, your own happiness. The shape of the seat, once you sit on the chair, you feel like you're compact. You also get massive amounts of storage space. You have storage here, which is like huge for 2 bottles of water. You'll get things like the glove box, more storage compartments on each door, and etc. Other than that, the normal radio, sat nav, even though it's not set, the Kenyan map is not set in the sat nav. You also get a computer that tells you the range. Maybe you fuel a certain amount of fuel. It's going to calculate and tell you how much range you have left with the amount of fuel that you put in. You also have standards such as air conditioning, and generally you feel that the car is a safe space. It's a calm place. It's a comfortable place because of all that gadgetry. Other than that, huge plus for the car.
All this is to ensure that you, the driver, will enjoy the experience of driving this car. You even get more gadgetry, including remote control ignition, multimedia buttons on the steering wheel, and power adjusted seats that also have positional memory. And it gets better. When you turn the car off and pull the keys from the ignition, the driver's seat will move back automatically to ensure maximum easiness when getting out of the car.
This car actually features, it's quite low. The car is quite low when you buy it from, I don't know, Japan or something, or Malaysia or something. So probably you'll need to talk to your mechanic so that they can add spacers, locally manufactured spacers. If you know what spacers are, I'm sure you're familiar with what I'm talking about. You'll need to install spacers on the shock absorbers to improve ride height, because again, for Kenya and for our market, our roads, yes, they're improving, but you also need that security to know that you won't go hitting all the bumps that you meet. Again, ride smooth. You don't get any wobbliness or anything. The tires are quite comfortable. They are low profile with alloy rims, so again, proper inflation, smooth ride, no complaints.
So far so good. The Bluebird is turning out to be impressive and very suitable, but there are 1 or 2 things that this car doesn't like.
When you install a a substandard air cleaner in this car, one that you've not bought from Nissan Kenya or something, once it gets a bit dusty, it actually starts to choke the car. You'll be interested to find out that this car is quite sensitive. If you install substandard air cleaner elements, once you get to around, when that air cleaner does around 3,000 kilometers or something, and it's quite dusty where you usually drive, this car will start to choke. The engine will start to choke, less power. You'll notice all that. So if you'll not be able to find an original recommended air cleaner from Nissan or Nissan Kenya or something, you can fit the ones you get at your local mechanics, and make sure you maybe regularly check them, maybe blow them with pressure, or replace them twice. For every 5,000 kilometers, you do 2 air cleaners or something. Again, mechanics part of it, this car is quite sensitive to, again, another substandard product. The spark plugs we get in the market. I don't think this particular car, from the time it was brought to Kenya, I don't think we have changed the spark plugs, because again, sensitivity, you install substandard spark plugs, you're in trouble. Maybe combustion will not take place properly. Sometimes even worst case scenarios, you won't be able to move or something.
There are many reasons to buy this car, some of them being that it's cheaper than its Toyota compatriots and more comfortable. It also feels and drives very well, and if you already have a Bluebird and it doesn't feel 100%, reach out to us at All Motoring and let us nurse your car back to full capacity.